once you kind of get in with a high profile client, then it's like some referral, I guess, from there.
One of the things I learned in business is to spot the breakout jobs. And what I mean by that is jobs that, like you could probably think of like certain projects or relationships that you're like, oh man, if I nail this, like this is the next level. And so I had a few of those, right? One was like a leak for a celebrity in a pool, and they had 5 people come out and say there was no leak. And I told them, I said, look, I'll pay $3,000. I'll have your whole thing tested on one condition. If there is a leak, you got to hire me for the job. So I did. And that broke me into like a huge network. And he kind of smiled. He's like, okay, hotshot, shook on it, wrote up an agreement that said, I'll cover all the costs. So I had a few of those. I did something for Jim Henson Studios. They had Charlie Chaplin, the actor's footprints were in concrete on a sidewalk and it was sinking, and they wanted to cut it out and mount it. And like they had all kinds of people there, and we're like cutting this square that if we break, it's done,
Dang,
So, yeah,
that would be scary.
they have a camera crew there, right? So like imagine the stress of my phone. He calls me up. He's like, hey Matt, he goes, they got like Red Hot Chili Peppers and like camera crew, like a whole thing. I'm like, I don't know. Tell them you need some space. I'm like, we gotta get this done. So I think recognizing the breakout projects and then just obsessing over those. Like I would wait for the opportunity and be like, oh, this is one of those. And I would just, I got more selective with it, but that helped build into the network and build the relationships.
Nice. And so you've built a business. Have you grown as far as revenue and employee wise since you took over the company?
Yeah. We're probably 6 times, 7 times the company, because we do residential, commercial, and prevailing wage now. So we're doing like government work. We're doing, prevailing wage products. So we 3 divisions within the company. We're doing masonry, concrete. We're licensed GCs. So we'll pick up like site work, grading. We'll do, framing if we need to. Like my crews are super well versed.
Wow, that's super cool. So, and how many guys do you have on right now, guys and girls?
48 in the field.
Wow, good for you. Dang, that's impressive. So, I guess then, because there's a bunch of other stuff too, and I mentioned it in the intro. So, you were talking about like a potential TV show. Now, does that play into kind of the marketing and growing the business? I would assume so, or is that kind of like a personal thing where you're like, hey, like I think I have something interesting going on enough here that I can make a show about?
The show came about. So, the goal for the show was helping homeowners with contractor issues. That was one of the things that I kind of built a name out of around here. I started working for a lot of lawyers. I started getting involved in like legal cases and consulting. And so, but I look young, and I was never, going back to like the work boots and the jeans and the t-shirt, like that's my kind of normal look. And so when I would go on these projects to investigate what was happening, I was never, they would literally like, they would like, I did a job on there was a multi-$100,000 legal issue with these painters. And they literally handed me the cans of paint. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm doing some stuff for the gutters. Can I see what you're doing? Like, yeah, take this. And they're laughing about how they're using the wrong product. And like, it was this concept of like being young and not, or looking young rather, and being very unassuming. But also having the background and understanding how to solve these issues is kind of the goal of the show.
That's sweet. So is it like in the works? Are you filming it? Is it coming out? Are we going to see it on Discovery after Gold Rush or what?
That's the goal. Yeah, the Gold Rush. Yeah, that's my show, man. I love that show. That's the goal. We're in talks right now. So there's a lot of stuff moving forward on that front.